Step back in time to the early 20th century American South, where the echoes of a fading aristocracy linger in the humid air, and the once grand estates stand as silent witnesses to the relentless march of time. In the heart of Mississippi lies Yoknapatawpha County, a fictional yet vividly realized landscape created by William Faulkner. It's here that the Compson family, a lineage steeped in Southern tradition and honor, faces the inexorable decline of their fortunes and the unraveling of their family bonds. The Sound and the Fury invites us into this intricate world, offering a profound exploration of love, loss, and the fragmented nature of time itself. The story unfolds through the eyes of four narrators, each providing a unique perspective on the Compson family's disintegration. The narrative is nonlinear, mirroring the chaos and confusion that envelop the characters' lives. The novel begins on April 7th, 1928, through the eyes of Benjamin "Benji" Compson, the youngest son. Benji is 33 years old and has a severe intellectual disability. He cannot speak and experiences the world in a constant flux of sensory impressions and memories that blur the lines between past and present. As Benji wanders the grounds of the decaying Compson estate, his thoughts drift fluidly through time. He is acutely sensitive to sights, sounds, and smells, particularly those associated with his sister, Candace "Caddy" Compson. Caddy is the center of Benji's world. Her scent of trees and the warmth of her presence are anchors in his tumultuous mind. Memories of playing together as children surface vividly. Caddy climbing a tree to look in on their grandmother's funeral, muddying her drawers in the process. Her comforting Benji when he's upset, whispering soothing words to calm his distress. But these happy recollections are intertwined with moments of profound loss. Benji recalls times when Caddy begins to distance herself, her maturation creating an invisible barrier he cannot comprehend. He senses changes in her, first when she wears perfume, which he finds unsettling, and later when she kisses boys, an act that disturbs him deeply. The most painful memory is of Caddy's wedding. Benji doesn't understand the ceremony, but feels the permanence of her departure. Her absence leaves a void that nothing else can fill. Benji's present is filled with routine and caretaking by the family's black servants, particularly Diley Gibson, who shows him kindness and patience. Yet his days are marred by moments of confusion and distress, often exacerbated by his older brother, Jason, who harbors resentment towards him. Benji's narrative, though fragmented and disorienting, paints a poignant picture of innocence lost and the enduring impact of Caddy's absence on his life. Shifting back in time to June 2nd, 1910, the narrative enters the mind of Quentin Compson, the eldest son, on the day he decides to take his own life. Quentin is a sensitive and introspective young man, attending Harvard University, but deeply troubled by his family's decline and the erosion of Southern values he holds dear. He is obsessed with concepts of honor, purity, and the passage of time, symbolized by his fixation on his grandfather's pocket watch, which he deliberately breaks to stop its incessant ticking. Quentin is tormented by Caddy's sexual promiscuity and her pregnancy out of wedlock. He idealizes her purity and cannot reconcile her actions with his rigid moral code. In his desperation, he even concocts a false confession to their father, claiming that he and Caddy committed incest, hoping to shoulder her shame and preserve her honor. Mr. Compson dismisses his confession, seeing through the lie and highlighting the disconnect between Quentin's idealism and the pragmatic cynicism of his father. Throughout the day, Quentin wanders the streets of Cambridge, Massachusetts, his thoughts spiraling into chaos. He encounters a young Italian girl and, in an attempt to protect her, ends up causing more confusion and attracting the attention of the police. He gets into a fight with local boys, reflecting his internal turmoil and aggression. Quentin's disjointed interactions and obsessive ruminations illustrate his inability to cope with reality. As the day wanes, he fills his pockets with metal weights and walks into the Charles River, drowning himself in a final escape from the relentless flow of time and the burdens of his conscience. Returning to the present of 1928, the narrative shifts to Jason Compson IV, the bitter and spiteful third son. Jason is consumed by anger and resentment towards his siblings, particularly Caddy, whom he blames for the family's misfortunes. Unlike Quentin's introspective anguish, Jason's cynicism is outwardly directed, manifesting in cruelty and manipulation. He works at a local farm supply store, a position he despises, feeling it beneath his family's stature. Jason is responsible for the financial well-being of the household, but he embezzles money sent by Caddy for the care of her daughter, Miss Quinnan, who now lives with the family. He intercepts the checks and tells his mother that Caddy has neglected them, fostering Mrs. Compson's disdain for her only daughter. Jason's treatment of Miss Quinnan is harsh and controlling. He monitors her activities, restricts her freedoms, and subjects her to verbal and emotional abuse. His actions are driven by a desire for control and retribution, channeling his frustrations into tormenting those around him. Miss Quinnan, a rebellious and spirited teenager, chafes under Jason's oppressive authority. She seeks escape from the suffocating environment of the Compson household, engaging in clandestine relationships and defying societal expectations. One day, she discovers that Jason has been stealing her mother's money and decides to take matters into her own hands. She steals several $1,000s from Jason's locked box and runs away with a man from a traveling circus. Jason, enraged by her defiance and the loss of the money, embarks on a frantic pursuit. His desperation leads him to consult the local sheriff, but his reputation and past actions garner little sympathy. The sheriff dismisses his pleas, pointing out that Jason's own dishonesty has led to this predicament. Jason's failure to retrieve Miss Quinnan or the money intensifies his bitterness, leaving him isolated and consumed by his own spite. The final section of the novel shifts to a third-person narrative centered on Diley Gibson, the Compson family's loyal and long-suffering servant. It is Easter Sunday, a day symbolic of rebirth and hope, yet the Compson household remains mired in dysfunction. Diley rises early to prepare for church, tending to Benji with maternal care and ensuring that the household runs as smoothly as possible amidst the chaos. Diley's presence is a stark contrast to the Compson's moral decay. She embodies strength, compassion, and resilience, providing stability where the family members cannot. At church, Diley listens to a powerful sermon that speaks of endurance and the promise of redemption. The preacher's words resonate deeply with her, offering a glimmer of hope in the face of the family's disintegration. Upon returning home, the fragile semblance of order begins to crumble. Jason's fury over Miss Quintan's disappearance leads to explosive confrontations. Mrs. Compson retreats further into her hypochondria and self-pity, oblivious to the needs of those around her. Benji becomes agitated when his routine is disrupted, his distress echoing the overall turmoil of the household. In a climactic scene, Luster, Diley's grandson, takes Benji for a carriage ride. Unaware of the importance of following the same route, Luster makes a wrong turn, causing Benji to erupt into hysterical howls. The familiar sights and patterns are crucial to Benji's sense of security, and the deviation plunges him into panic. Jason, passing by, intervenes angrily, striking luster and redirecting the carriage onto the correct path. As they resume the familiar route, Benji calms down, his silence highlighting the fragile balance that maintains his world. The novel closes with a poignant reflection on the cyclical nature of time and the inescapable grip of the past. The Compson family's decline is complete, their legacy tarnished, their bonds severed. Diley, observing the remnants of the family she has served for decades, acknowledges the end of an era. She has seen the first and the last, recognizing that the Compsons, once pillars of Southern aristocracy, have succumbed to the relentless forces of change and their own internal failings. The Sound and the Fury delves deep into the complexities of its characters, offering a rich tapestry of motivations and inner struggles. Benji's innocence and sensory perceptions provide a raw and unfiltered view of the family's dynamics. His attachment to Caddy is pure and unwavering, highlighting the profound impact she has on those around her. His inability to understand the changes and losses in his life evokes a deep sense of empathy. Quentin's character embodies the tragic consequences of idealism clashing with reality. His obsession with honor, purity, and the preservation of Southern values leads him down a path of self-destruction. Quentin's internal conflict over Caddy's sexuality and the family's dishonor consumes him, illustrating the destructive power of unattainable ideals and the suffocating weight of societal expectations. Jason represents the corrosive effects of bitterness and resentment. His pragmatic approach to life is overshadowed by his vindictive nature. Jason's manipulation of his mother, mistreatment of Miss Quentin, and embezzlement of funds reveal a man desperate for control, yet incapable of genuine connection. His failures and frustrations are projected onto others, perpetuating a cycle of anger and isolation. Caddy, though never given a direct voice in the novel, is the linchpin of the family's narrative. Her actions and choices significantly impact each of her brothers, reflecting themes of innocence lost and the complexities of female agency in a restrictive society. Caddy's defiance of traditional roles challenges the moral fabric of the family, and her absence leaves a void that cannot be filled. Diley stands as a beacon of endurance and compassion amidst the family's chaos. Her unwavering dedication to the Compsons, despite their flaws and the societal limitations imposed upon her, highlights the themes of sacrifice and moral strength. Diley's perspective offers a grounding force in the narrative, emphasizing the potential for dignity and humanity in the face of adversity. The novel intricately weaves themes of time, memory, and the decline of the Southern aristocracy. The fragmented narrative structure mirrors the disintegration of the Compson family and the fluidity of time as experienced by the characters. Faulkner's use of stream of consciousness immerses the reader in the inner worlds of the narrators, emphasizing their personal struggles and distorted perceptions. The setting of Yoknapatawpha County serves as more than just a backdrop. It is an integral part of the story. The decaying Compson estate symbolizes the erosion of traditional Southern values and the inevitable change sweeping through the region. The lush, oppressive landscape of the South, with its sweltering heat and haunting beauty, reflects the characters' inner turmoil and the weight of their histories. Faulkner's portrayal of the societal and racial dynamics of the time adds depth to the narrative. The interactions between the Compsons and the black servants, particularly Diley, highlight the entrenched hierarchies and prejudices of the era. Yet, Diley's moral superiority and resilience challenge these constructs, offering a critique of the social order. Emotionally, The novel is a compelling exploration of human suffering and the search for meaning in a fractured world. The reader is drawn into the characters' experiences, feeling Benji's confusion, Quentin's despair, Jason's rage, and Diley's quiet strength. The shifting perspectives and non-linear timeline require active engagement, mirroring the characters' attempts to make sense of their lives. The Sound and the Fury does not provide easy answers or resolutions. Instead, it presents a tapestry of interconnected lives, each grappling with personal demons and societal pressures. The novel invites reflection on themes such as the nature of time, the impact of the past on the present, and the complexities of familial relationships. It challenges readers to consider the ways in which individuals navigate their identities within the confines of tradition and change. In the end, the Compson family story is a tragic reflection on the impermanence of glory and the inevitable decline that follows hubris and neglect. Their struggles are both deeply personal and universally resonant, capturing the essence of human frailty and the enduring quest for meaning. Faulkner's masterful storytelling and rich characterization ensure that The Sound and the Fury remains a timeless exploration of the human condition, leaving readers to ponder the echoes of the past and the possibilities of redemption amidst despair. As we close this journey with the Compson family, we are left to reflect on our own connections to time, memory, and the forces that shape our lives. The novel serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of existence and the profound impact of our choices on ourselves and those around us. Through the fractured narratives and emotional depth, Faulkner invites us to find meaning in the midst of chaos and to seek understanding within the sound and the fury of life itself.